Hi, second grade. Mrs. B here, and I am here with my daughter, Tony Antonia. So you might hear her talking or playing with her toys in the background. So through our presentation, we were learning about the artist, Andy Warhol. And this artist was a huge part of the pop art movement. So when we talk about pop art, the word pop not only means like pop off the paper, like pop can be bright, but pop art also references popular things or popular people. So Andy Warhol created his art about things that most people knew about. So he created his art about like famous actors and actresses. He created his artwork about different foods that a lot of people would buy in the grocery store, things like that. His artwork also was super colorful and had lots of pops of color. So as you can see here, my example that I created, I did ice cream cones and I did them very bright, and I did many colors and I changed the color and I tried to make them pop. So your goal for today is to create a drawing either on paper like this or on your iPad that has 4 copies of one food. I picked ice cream because I think ice cream is a pretty popular food. A lot of people like it. What I'm doing then is I'm drawing it as close to exactly the same as I possibly can. It is okay if you can do it perfectly the same. That's super challenging, just as close as you can. And then I made sure to change the colors so that I have 4 different color variations. I'm going to show you on this video a way to create 4 of the exact same size using either index cards or post-it notes. So you can just do what I did here, where you just generally draw it, or what you can do is you can do 4 different drawings on 4 note cards or 4 post-it notes, and then you can paste them on your artwork or glue them on your artwork together to create the same kind of like grid. So this, all I really did was just drew them, traced them with black marker, and then I colored them in. The black marker is pretty important for like this thick dark outline. That is a huge part of pop art. If you don't have a black marker, you can certainly use a black crayon, but just make sure there's a nice dark black outline if you're just doing this version where it's just a drawing of 4. So, oh, okay. So if you're going to use index cards or post-it notes, the good thing about index cards and post-it notes is you have a lot and they're all the exact same size. So I have these mini post-it notes here, which will totally work. And then I also have some big note cards here, which also will work great. So with your note cards, if you're creating your art on your note card, you obviously want to do the drawing on the blank side, not the line side. Okay, so if you do have note cards, you are going to use 4 note cards. And if you have post-it notes, you're going to use 4 post-it notes. So making sure they're the same size. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So depending on the thickness of your post-it note or your note card, you can actually trace. So I decided for this example, I am going to do a watermelon slice. So I drew a watermelon slice on my post-it note. Then I can actually take the next post-it note, place it on top, and I can see through the paper enough that I can trace. Now what's really cool about that is that when I do have 4 copies, they will be almost exactly the same, which is really nice. There might be some varying differences, but not much. Okay, so I already did a few of them. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. I can place them on top, just slightly place on top just slightly. Now, Post-it notes already have the sticky stuff on the back, so if you do it this way, you can just like kind of leave it that way. Again, you're going to color them in. I'm going to color in with crayons. You can use whatever coloring coloring tools that you have. So I'm going to do crayons. I'm going to switch up the colors every time I color a new one. This one I'm going to do blue, green, and red, and then I'll do the next one a different color variation. I'm trying to use at least 3 different colors. The more colors you use, the more interesting, but do be careful not to use too many because then it gets like wild. Alright, and then I'm going to color these in all 4 of them. Try and color it pretty nicely. Oh, you know what I forgot? Dark outline. It does make it pop a little more, so big important part of pop art is having a nice dark outline. So making sure I have my dark outline going on. Alright, so then I'm going to color them all in those different colors. Okay, I'm going to actually set this to the side and work on the postcards, or the notes, the note cards. Again, same thing. Draw a food. I think this one I'm going to do a donut. And I'm going to do a donut from the side angle and try and make it look kind of 3D. And then depending on the thickness of your note cards, you might be able to see through. If not, this is another copying strategy you can try. You can actually take your first drawing that you created. You can scribble on the back. Again, this is if you have note cards. If you don't have note cards, that is okay. This is just a strategy for you. Now what this is doing is it's putting the lead, well, the graphite, which is the stuff inside the pencil, it's putting it onto the back of the paper. Now what I can do is I can put that paper on top of the other one. This is great for any kind of copying, and I can trace with some force, you know, pretty hard, pushing down, tracing over top of that drawing I did. And when I pick up my paper, you'll see what happened. And it did a transfer. So it's very light, obviously. So now what I can do is I can go back over it, make it a little bit darker. And so that's another way you can have an exact copy. So if you're using a Post-it note, while it's a thin piece of paper, you can literally trace one on top of the other. If you are using a note card, you can take the back, scribble on the back, and do what's called a carbon copy. So I'm going to scribble a little bit more for my next copy. Do it again. Tracing hard. Another one, and last one. Again, this type of copying is really cool, this carbon copying, because you can do it with anything. So if you're lucky enough that you have a printer at your house, or even with a newspaper, anything, you can basically take any picture at all, scribble on the back, place it on top of another piece of paper and trace, and you'll be able to make copies that way, which I think is pretty cool. Remember, my next step, which I kind of did out of order, my watermelon slices, is Sharpie first, that nice dark bold outline first. And after my nice dark bold outline, I am going to do a variety of colors. To finish, I am going to put these all on one piece of paper like I did with the Post-its. So you can do that with tape, glue if you're lucky enough to have a glue stick. Just put them all in one place, so right next to each other. That is totally fine for the sake of the picture. And I need you to take a picture of your beautifully colored PopArtFood and send them to me on Google Classroom. Our next project is going to be continuation of pop art, but you're going to be doing this drawing process with a person instead of a food. So I want you to think about if you want to do yourself, if because it's pop art and you're thinking about popular things, if you want to do someone popular in society right now, you have to decide who you want your pop art portraits to be about. It could be about a family member. That is entirely up to you. So I have my 4. Again, I'm going to color them in 4 different variations and place them together like this and take a photo. So to complete a good pop art food project, you need 4 copies with a nice dark black outline and with 4 variations of coloring. Again, think about who you're going to create your pop art portrait about, and consider what you're going to do for that next step for the next part of this project. I can't wait to see what you create.